Hi, my name is James Hunt, and I have chosen to present on the 2000 Summer Paralympics in Sydney and its ability to create an accessible event for all. The event was held from the 18th to the 29th of October. I chose this topic because I was born with mild cerebral palsy on my right side and am currently rowing in the hope of competing in the Paralympics in Paris 2024. I have first-hand experience on what accessibility measures are needed and was interested in how my home city prepared and executed their plan for hosting the Paralympics. To analyse the mega event, we must acknowledge the inherent complexity in creating a venue that is accessible for all types of disability. Test events were held at various venues before the Games, where people with disabilities evaluated the level of accessibility. This resulted in the reallocation of resources and extra accommodation being added to overcome issues. However, Darcy argues that whilst the Games had accessible seating for those with mobility requirements, other forms of disability such as hearing and visual impairment didn't receive the same amount of planning, highlighting a lack of awareness of knowledge and the inherent complexity of creating an accessible event for all. One way to remove this complexity is through the notion of universal design. This is where events are accessible for all, irrespective of ability, thus people can carry themselves with dignity and self-respect. Darcy reiterates this principle by saying that special considerations should not be necessary if the environment is built to adequately reflect the needs of the community. Therefore, the Paralympic Accessibility Plan must extend to other groups of people, including families with prams and older people. For the Sydney Games, precincts were revamped, leaving a legacy of accessible infrastructure that can be used by society. Furthermore, the Sydney Paralympic Organising Committee realised that they needed to work with the Olympic Committee for the two events to be a success, thus being achieved by using the same venues along with staff retention to ensure universally designed events. One of the most important aspects of accessibility is educating people on different types of ability. As Darcy and Harris illustrates, this allowed staff and volunteers to assist where necessary, enabling people with disabilities to confidently contribute and interact with society. Bamford 2020 stated that this was the inclusivity from staff, volunteers and the crowd that created a benchmark for future Paralympics. However, the large volunteer drive for the Olympic movement exhausted the number of volunteers that were available for the Paralympics, due to not being able to match the same rewards that were being offered by the government, highlighting the significance of factoring in all stakeholders during decision making. Accessibility is also about how you provide an opportunity to shift perceptions and inspire people. The Paralympics achieved this through creating elite culture where athletes were regarded in respect to their sport rather than their disability, bringing mutual respect to their able-bodied counterparts. Furthermore, Spock created a national program which was delivered around schools, introducing athletes with disabilities to the younger generation, shaping their perceptions whilst creating an inclusive environment for all. There was also a $15 all-day pass which brought in over 1 million spectators, where an accessible and affordable experience promoted community awareness and inclusivity. Darcy stated that this gave people with disability the opportunity to share a common community experience without feeling like a burden or being labelled as different. Thank you.